Alibaba bringing in sales of around 84.5 billion US dollars. JD coming in at about 54.6 billion US dollars. Huge sales. And the concern going into this really was on the macroeconomic side. Was the Chinese consumer strong enough? Did they still have appetite to want to buy these heavily discounted products? The answer really was yes in this case as well. But while you had these record sales, it was certainly a different feel. It was more muted, less glitzy, less glamorous, a little bit more focus on some of the things that Beijing is focusing on right now, particularly with its common prosperity drive. Both companies talking up sustainability and environmental efforts. Alibaba put out a statement after the sales period saying it used Double 11 as a platform to fulfill social responsibility. JD even began its sales a little bit earlier, so people didn't have to stay up as late. So that was the kind of feel this year. Very different from past years as well. And also, you had quite a long sales period as well. I mean, JD's sales began at the end of October. Alibaba started on November 1st, and that's really helped them to continue to grow that transaction and GMV figure that we're talking about as well. So a lot of those concerns brushed aside, and it's very much a success, as you can see from the share prices this morning in both companies. I'm sure we'll be pleased with the fact that they can still manage to get consumers to buy on this huge shopping day, Matt.
Okay, let's talk about some of the highlights from the shopping day. I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this, but what were the red hot items that consumers were out there picking up this year? Because you know what, last year it was things like, I don't know, air fryers, people working from home, staying at home in lockdown, that kind of thing. But what was it this year?
Yeah, I can tell you what I bought, man. I bought a few headphones and a few other bits and bobs. And that very much trends with what was going on. Electronics, very popular as always. I mean, Apple products were doing very good sales over Singles Day as well. But what both companies were saying is that what they saw was a rise of Gen Z consumers, younger consumers getting on the platform. And if you think about what these companies are trying to do, they are trying to grow their user base for the future. So that was quite key. Luxury products also doing pretty well, as well as cosmetics. And as you mentioned, their air fryers and etc. Household goods doing very well as well. And also, from my interview yesterday with JD Retail CEO, one of the things he mentioned was domestic brands were on the rise as well. And that's interesting because last year, the story was all about international brands, given the fact Chinese consumers couldn't go abroad. But you are seeing the growth of domestic brands as well. So those were some of the items people were buying. Those are some of the highlights.